Listen, as we all know, the physical media content creation space here on YouTube has hit an all-time low, you know? And the blue tubers I'm going to be talking about today are definitely playing a part in that, in my opinion. But again, my opinion carries some weight, so I would definitely listen to what I have to say. Now, before we get started, there's some channels I've already talked about in the past. I'm not gonna dwell on them too much. Movies and Sue, I've done a whole video on her. You can watch that and get what you need from that. Dead Pit Radio, countless content, but the biggest problem with them, as you need to know, is one, they do not want to be accepted as physical media people, even though that's like 90% of their content. And two, these guys are just bad friends. Did you see what they did to Born to Be Rad when they left him out in the cold and let me do a video on him? That was just plain rude. And of course, Cool Duder. What's there to say about Cool Duder that hasn't already been said? But the channels I'm talking about today have left a lot of room for improvement as well. Now, I'm not going to go as in-depth as I had in my individual videos on certain creators, but I figured, you know what? I might as well just burn all my bridges today. So, first up, Planet CHH. Okay, look, I get it. Everyone always said this dude's the hunk of physical media. He's got that long Rob Zombie hair. He's got a beard. Not like Rob Zombie or my beard, but he's got a beard. And everyone they like watching him swirl his hair around, and they just kind of get memorized. They don't even listen to what he says. Look, I get it. But I also have to inform you, he's no longer the hunk of physical media. That title goes to me now. Again, when you have a perfect face like mine, with a perfect big beard, and attractive shades, and an attractive hat, no one's going to be able to compete with that. So, he's no longer the number one hunk. You can call him number 2 if you want, but it's a little distant second from this number 1 guy. Now, I've talked a little bit about this stuff in another video, but look, Planet CHH, stop talking about these literal antiques. Okay? If you want to take your DVDs on Antique Roadshow so they can, chuckle up a storm about you talking about these things like they have some kind of value, by all means go for it. But here on YouTube, there's just no place for that. What people want to hear is they want to hear, hey, what are some of the best slip covers of all time? What is some of the best slip cases of all time? Let's talk about the top 10 Rob Zombie movies. Let's talk about the Eli Roth filmography. Let's talk about Platinum Dunes and Lights Number 1. Some of these are subjects you've covered, and that stuff's great. But you've fallen down a rabbit hole of just talking about ancient DVDs. And I, for one, have had it. Enough is enough. I don't even think you watch those things because they probably have disc rot and they won't even play anyways. Now, next I'm going to talk about Wet Movie 1. Look, obviously, when, you talk about the Mount Rushmore, physical media people, Wet Movie 1 is on it. No one can take that away from him. But come on. Most of his content now is him taking big bins of DVDs and CDs, trading them in, getting what cash he can, and then him telling us, hey, you guys got to be careful with what you collect. You're going to wind up like me and just have totes and totes of stuff that you don't watch and don't want, and you try to get rid of it and it's worthless. Terrible advice. That's why you're on this list. You've lost touch. Did you even buy The Keep from Vinegar Syndrome on opening day? If you didn't, you're not even a collector anymore. And if you don't change your ways, they're going to scrape you off of that mountain because, hey, they need to make a room for number 1 anyways, so they might as well get started. Now, we all know part of the secret to success of physical media YouTubers is great enticing thumbnails. Now, I've mastered this technique, and many others have, but there's a guy online, I think his name is like Midtown Media, Midlife Media, middle of the road media. I don't know what you are. It doesn't matter because I can't get past your thumbnail. Like, it's the same few images of like him, and it looks like he's either, really trying hard to hold his breath, or like, maybe he's got like a fart, but he's in like Walmart and doesn't want to like stink up the place. I don't know. Okay. That's his business and I don't care. But look, you look at my thumbnails and you look at his. Like, I'll just show you some great examples of what a good thumbnail that's going to draw people in, okay? All of those are excellent, okay? You want to screen cap them and use them on your videos? Anybody, go for it. But look, I have mastered thumbnail imagery. Now, hey, he could be great. He could be talking about slipcovers. He could be talking about Rob Zombie. I have no idea. I just haven't found out. And maybe when he masters the thumbnail, not only will I know his name, but I will have seen his content. And I'm going to end today on a channel known as Just the Discs. And this guy is on here because he is so misleading. You're called Just the Discs. First off, you should be called Just the Slips because that's what we're here for, okay? We don't actually really care about the special features, the commentary tracks, the movie. Like, we don't need that in a video. If someone's dorky enough to want to know that information, they probably bought it and watched it, okay? But this dude, not only is he making content that people don't want to see, but he's also like talking about VHS. VHS isn't a disc. And the fact you're bringing that into your home, knowing that each tape is filled to the brim with mold and probably like broken and not even working, like, that's just disturbing. And obviously, you need to change your name to something else if you're going to be talking about something that isn't a disc. And I recommend just a rebrand to, like I said, Just the Slips. I feel like your subscriber base will probably quadruple overnight. But guys, that's just a sampling of the physical media dilemma that we are dealing with these creators. Now, I could have made a list probably with about 30 different channels, but I just wanted to focus on these few today. I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you are taking notes if you are one of these content creators and hey, I can improve my channel overnight. And as always, to everyone out there, I hope that you keep slipping.